Joining us live now is the Tennessee congressman who represents Memphis, Democrat Steve Cohen. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for being with us. Give us your sense of how you are reacting to the statue controversy, what you're hearing from your constituents.
In Memphis, we have two statues that have caused a lot of civic concern. One for Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was the first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, and the other for Jefferson Davis. Forrest was put up just after the turn of the century by a bunch of people that were after Jim Crow, and a lot of these statues went up after Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896 that made it, indeed, the end of Reconstruction. Separate was considered equal. And those were kind of monuments to that decision. Jefferson Davis went up in 1964, and that was right after the Civil Rights Acts and the Voting Rights Act were in the process of either passing or being passed, and they were reactions. They were basically putting it in your face, saying we're not going to go along with what the changes in American society, this inclusion, and we're standing up and resisting. Those statues should come down.
So talk to us about the controversy in Memphis, though. Those who are fighting or standing up to fight to keep it up, what can be done?
Well, the problem right now is that the state legislature passed a law after the city council passed a resolution to remove those two statues, and the state law says that it has to be approved by the State Historical Commission by a 2/3 vote, not a majority vote, and there may be a second body that it has to go before as well. That's been the holdup. Our mayor is in favor of removing the statues and has asked for some type of expedited hearing. The problem is the Governor Haslam, says he doesn't think that Nathan Bedford Forrest, which is in the state capitol, should be there either. The governor appoints those historical commission members, and he could get them to schedule it, and he could get them to vote. I think that he needs to take leadership and see to it that the state blockade on the city of Memphis's local position should not continue, and that the state should allow those statues to be removed. They are harmful to the impact on young African Americans and on older African Americans who see them as signs, as they are and they were intended to be when they were put up, of the Old South and of repression and of white supremacy.
Congressman, you have a couple of colleagues, Representative Al Green of Texas, Brad Sherman of California, both of whom have introduced impeachment motions generally against the wishes of other congressional Democrats who are trying to work through other committee processes. There has been a growing call in the last week in the public and from others as President Trump sticks to this pro-Confederacy embrace of neo-Nazis and racists about impeachment. Tell me where this sort of discussion stands.
Well, there has been a thought in the Democratic caucus that the president will hang himself, and he's certainly doing a real good job of it, and that we should just let him do that. I have been tempted to introduce an impeachment resolution, to today announce that I will be introducing my own impeachment resolution. I had introduced, along with 29 other Democrats, a resolution of no confidence back in July that listed about 85 articles that actions the president had taken that we found reprehensible and reasons why we had no confidence. We're going to take that, shape it, and what happened in Charlottesville into a more comprehensive resolution of an article of impeachment and introduce it as soon as we can, probably no later than the first day that we return, depending on legal services. What happened in Charlottesville showed that the president can't discern the difference between a domestic terrorist and a protester. He can't distinguish between citizens, Americans who are objecting to abhorrent behavior of Klansmen and Nazis and Klansmen. That demonstration at Charlottesville reminded me of Kristallnacht in 1938 in Germany. It reminded me of Klan rallies with the torches. Those people were yelling, "Jews will not take our jobs." They do not like African Americans. They don't like Jews. They don't like America.
All right, then. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Steve Cohen of the state of Tennessee.
Thank you for having me.